It's your girl, it's K Rene.
And it's David Lorenzo Glover, a.k.a. Never Neverland.
Oh my goodness gracious. Welcome back to another episode of Thunderous Altercations. Again, I'm your girl, K Rene. This is my co-host, David Lorenzo Glover, a.k.a. Never Neverland today, because, you know, he has a new name every Saturday.
Yeah, it's just fitting, whatever, to have something. You just wake up and you just go with the flow. That's my thought process.
I hear you. Well, listen, I am just wanting to say thank you to everybody who is out there watching us right now, is watching us live. We're streaming right now, WPB Media Networks. We're on Facebook. Also, you can log on as well, and you can join us, and you can watch us there for our episode number 5. So, of course, we got started a little bit late, but we wanted to come and do something a little different with our topic today. We've been going back and forth for like the first 4 episodes, you know, trying to, we destroyed families, relationships. Oh, this is all on you. I'm sorry. That's what you've been doing since we started.
Yeah.
Destroying families.
That's my role. That's my
relationships. Right. Exactly. You know, having a difference within understandings, of course, when it comes to holidays, not celebrating them. And so we want to do something a little bit more on an intimate setting and a different level because of today's topic, which is going to be a little bit more serious. And we want to talk about the scandals and everything that's been broadcasted and being visual to us, and also been airing to be a little bit louder within the messages that they're trying to convey to us as the public about everything from Michael Jackson, R. Kelly, even going to take it back a little bit to Elvis Presley and
Woody Allen.
Woody Allen.
Cosby.
Bill
Jerry
Cosby.
Sandusky. It's never
Did you say
ending.
Jerry Sandusky?
Yeah.
Okay, yes. Yeah. You know what? When I heard Jerry Sandusky, I went straight meteorologist.
Oh. No, I'm talking about the guy with the Penn State.
Right, exactly.
Scandal.
Yeah, I had to get it together. Yeah. I was like, Jerry Sandusky, what did he do? He was doing news and weather. Like, wait, Jerry. No, but other than that. And Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah, Weinstein, yeah.
Yes.
It's just so much, and it makes you think, if you really break this stuff down, you can look at certain areas. It's just not, again, not black and white. There's a lot of gray areas to all of these subjects, and I think people need to kind of break it down before they just pass judgment on situations. This stuff is deep, real deep.
It is deep, and we want to actually kind of get an idea to see how deep it goes. I mean, even from just me going to give you a little bit of something that has been very personal to me within my background and growing up, and, you know, with my issues of being a part of a Me Too movement. And I think a lot more voices are being accepted and being heard now today as opposed to back then. And so we want to really kind of get an idea, well, not an idea, but we want to kind of shed light on these different issues and different stories, because we have so many different stories, so many different stars, so many different celebrities, producers, writers that are kind of like in one ring that's going around being involved in the same issue. And so it's kind of like, what's going on in Hollywood? Like, is it really like the devil's pie, or is it really a place to make you, or is it a place that breaks you? And some of these people we're going to talk about today has had a helping hand of actually molding a lot of people's careers.
But see, I think that's the problem. As regular, normal, working class people, we tend to base stuff on Hollywood. But this stuff happens every day, all day long.
Right.
And we kind of sweep it under the rug instead of focusing like, this is impacting us now. We can't touch Hollywood. We don't have the money to touch Hollywood. But we can deal with the stuff on the lower level, and I think that's how we have to work towards it, but it's not happening.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's going on in our hood where we are. Like I said, you know, speaking from my experiences as a young teenager, you know, just growing up, trying to find my way and being kind of caught up in some type of a really bad spider web, you know, something I've never really even discussed with my family, let alone my mom. And so, you know, being that once this airs, she'll have a good idea of what happened and, you know, what I did to kind of move away from the situation itself. But it's another thing that when we have these children and we are trying to do things to make them happy, especially if they have a dream. They want to be a star. They want to be a model. They want to be an actor. They want to be a singer. And we try to encourage them with their dreams and never try to tell them that they can't. But we try to do what we need to do to kind of put them on that map. And some of these parents, just from the documentaries I have watched when it comes to R. Kelly and Michael Jackson, it's just kind of like we got to take a look at the parents too. Because it's really like now the pointing the finger, who's to blame? Is it the parents? Is it the children? Is it the celebrities? And so we're going to talk about that also. And we're going to also talk about what it is that we can do with grooming our children today to help them to know what to do if they are ever put in a situation, if someone approaches them, you know, how to basically report it, not to also be afraid to tell somebody. You have a son?
Yeah.
I have a son too.
I think the communication piece with the child's parent is pivotal, but a lot of times kids shy away from that and they don't speak to them. So it's too much going on, whatever, with social media, the worldwide stuff that information travels, that you have to be on top of things. And I don't think, and I hate to say this, I don't think parents are always on top of things when they need to be. It needs to be a regular check on a regular basis, and we don't do it.
Well, we're going to take a pause real quick, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to get into our topic of today, which is Hollywood scandals, lies, and stardom. It is Rene, Thunderous Altercations, and we'll be right back. It's the R. Kelly documentary, the 6-part series of the R. Kelly.
I watched some of it, bits and pieces of it, but I got caught out there like looking at it, and it's troublesome to me.
I mean, is it troublesome because of the stories you heard from the ladies who are now grown, as them telling their story when they were younger, of what happened and how they got there?
Yeah, I think I looked at overall on every entity, whatever. There's a parent piece. There's, you know, the children wanting that fame, because we live in a day and age, like I said last week, the microwave society, that they want it instantly. They won't stardom. They want to be athletes. They want to be entertainers. They want to do it all, but they don't want to put in the hard work. So if you can find a way to get there before putting in the hard work, you're going to go for it.
Right.
So it's troublesome to me, because we grew up in a generation, it was hard work and dedication.
Okay. And yeah, that's where I come from too. Hard work, dedication, knew how to communicate, actually still use the phone to have a conversation, you know, and of course the way that it is with social media technology today, it has changed a lot of that, especially when it comes to communication. Now that we have these victims speaking out, or all these women, of which are, like I said, they're now grown, but they were younger, they were minors back then when they were introduced to R. Kelly and wanting to become a star, and showing this man who was just that and more, was a star, was an icon, and, you know, coming from a group where they didn't even want him to stay in the group because his voice was so different and unique. They wanted him to separate from the public announcement, where he then became the solo artist of R. Kelly. And now R. Kelly grew up with a childhood that wasn't so good either. From him being molested at a young age by a family member when he was 6. And not only just him, but his other brothers. And he got one in jail, which I see now why he is in jail, because he's a lost bird. But do you think the women, honestly, that are speaking out today are doing it for recognition, or do you think they're doing it for money and it's have their own tell-all story? Because we know how a lot of people live into reality TV shows today. That's like the big hype. I gotta watch Real Housewives, nobody's ever a wife, like, you know, of this show, or, you know, The Doctors, or whatever it is. Everything is just reality. Do you think they're trying to spin off something on their own, like a show or a book deal?
You know, the way it was set up in design, I kind of think that, like, some of them may be dealing with pain and they might want to get their story out there. But I think a lot of it has to do with that fame and glory. Because I think you also need to ask these people, have you seek counseling? Who have you spoken to? And I think people jump from, okay, this happened, now I want to go in front of cameras.
Right.
And I want to tell my story. But is that how really things normally happen? No, it doesn't. So, and again, that parent piece is key that people don't focus on, and I think we need to take a look at that parent piece.
Well, let's talk about the parents for a second, because even to the extent of Aaliyah and R. Kelly getting married, you know, Aaliyah was 15 years old and had documents forged off that it looked as though that she was 18. Also, again, hearing that she was pregnant in the course of the time. He was the type of artist who was controlling the background and the forefront. Your videos, how he wanted you to look. Again, where he hung out was in an area which it was a setting for all younger women, teenage girls. Recruiting them in, again, with the stardom, having his name being who he is, having all of the success, and then, again, still wheeling and dealing them in, where he then co-wrote, produced her whole album, and then had them on a BET with Sherry Shepherd, I believe it was, and Dion or Donnie Simpson, I think, whatever that show was that they went on BET, dressed like twins. And then she was classifying him like, this is my best friend. Like, how is this your best friend? And you're 15 and this is a grown man. That's a problem. Number two, the other issue was, again, how are these children also getting to R. Kelly? It's the parents. Yeah. Now, the parents are hanging out in certain areas, or how it's a tip. I get one word from this person. She tells me about this. You should really try to do something about getting your daughter over there. You know, he has means to try to help her to become this type of person. Even backpedaling to Sparkle. She had a career. And then what happened to the other two girls? Was it Changing Faces? I don't know what happened to them, but all of the lyrics, his persona, is all a sexual background. And then the parents knowing the type of music he's putting out, and then you're sweeping your young teenage daughter who's not even grown, fully developed, don't know how to do for herself, towards someone. And this is all before the rumors had even started that he was doing stuff with Aaliyah or any other underage girls. But she was the first one that stuck out more so, as opposed to others who didn't have the stardom. So then, fast forwarding, Aaliyah's mother was dealing with R. Kelly also, in the midst that he was getting close to mom to get close to her.
Yeah, and I mean, as crazy as it sounds, this stuff happens on a lower level on a regular basis, that you have guys get close to the mother, but they're really seeking out the daughter. That's why you can't be too comfortable. KYP, know your personnel, who you dealing with, and people don't follow suit to that.
Right.
So none of this stuff is really shocking to me. I can't say, I look at it and I shake my head and I say, wow, like, really, like, this stuff is going on. But when you think about it and you sit back and reflect on it, you know it's real. It's happening every day.
Right.
And no matter what, you can't prevent it, because even I think about in the school system, you have teachers, you know, you're supposed to be in education, you love children, but sometimes there's some sick teachers that like younger children, and they become involved in them, and you like, wow, how? And you can run tests, you can do background checks, but you can never deal with that moment when it's right then and there. Like, why would a grown person become romantically involved with a child. It's sick and it's happening. How do we prevent it? I don't know the answer. We can work together on that and try to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, that's always the goal, to trying to work it out and figure it out. But it all, again, stems back to something happened to this person to why they act the way they do towards people who are not their age, on that maturity level. It's like somewhere they got stuck, stagnant, and they never even moved forward within their own demon to try to battle it out. So then, like I've said several times before, people are good at suppressing things, to bury it and just, again, sweeping it under the rug, like you said, and like it's just going to disappear. But let's go back to these girls. Several girls who are telling the same story to points where they were saying they couldn't even get out. They couldn't even go home. They couldn't get away. Do you believe that that was honestly true? Or do you think that they actually liked the setting, or was just thinking, if I stay a little longer, that maybe things are going to get better and they'll develop for me with where I'm trying to be with my career if I just keep doing what this man telling me to do? He got girls calling him dad. He's the king of his house, his castle. You couldn't eat unless he said it was okay. You couldn't go to the bathroom unless it was okay. He even had his wife locked in a room to where she couldn't even come out. He had several guests there. She had to ask, could she go to the restroom? And she was a choreographer for the dancers that were in his videos. And this is the mother of your children. And now look at his kids. Not besides not having a relationship with them, but one of them is now transgendered. So what do you think that's doing for his children? And then now it's all on TV. It's all on social media. You know, like everyone's joking it right now, like with the memes and the videos that they're editing and putting together with, like, you know, the club beats and stuff. And it's a kiki ha ha. But honestly, I just don't feel sorry for him. I don't. I really don't. When you are messed up in the mind to be dealing with people's children and you have your own children, how am I supposed to feel? I forget my daughter can't come out and leave and you said, no, I'm going in to get her. Like, and so it's making me question these parents again. Like, how much money are y'all looking for? Because you got your child like a pawn, putting them on a game piece. Like a game board. Like, you're just moving them around and not even caring really what it's doing to them deeply inside. That they're going to have to carry that weight. They got children later on in life. How you think they're going to be able to parent?
Well, I think the one thing is, when you don't advocate for your children and you're chasing that silver bullet, this is where all this stuff arises. If all this stuff is true, R. Kelly is not the only one that should be going down. It's multiple people that should be going down.
Oh yeah, we got them on the list. Yes.
You got all his entourage and stuff.
Check.
So
check. Security.
It's bigger than what it is. And everybody, and people always say, oh, money don't matter. It's such and such.
Money's the root of all evil.
It matters.
I think money stems from evil. You can get a lot of things done with money, whether it's good things or bad things. Because look how much evil things have happened. Look what he's done. And he's been on videotape doing these acts. And then they're going to court and denying things under oath, which is perjury. But if you're a certain age as a minor, you can't get charged for perjury, for lying under oath. And then we got these out-of-court settlements that's happening too. So really, is stardom just worth money? Or do you need to be validated for your personality and your beliefs and staying true to who you are? Or are you just being bought out because of the fact that this is going to bring me more money, so I'm just going to take the hit and do what I got to do to be in this industry?
Well, I think overall, how many people really have principles that they really stand by? I mean, I think it's out there that you should have principles, but how many people actually really follow it?
Right.
Because I think religion and all that stuff, it's like a buffet. You pick and choose what benefits you, and then even when you say, "Oh, I'm Christian, I'm Catholic, I don't have sex," but when you're in that time of the moment, things happen. All of a sudden, that part of religion, you sweep it
that under the table too. So, yeah.
We don't know. We're in a complicated world where it's a lot of things spiraling.
Yeah.
People really don't even know their truth or what they really stand for.
Right.
So that's why you have all these different scandals and stuff that come up.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And speaking on religion, I can speak on that. I've been like several different things. Buddhist, Christian. I still got my Nam-myo Renge-kyo. I'm upstairs. I'm like, what do you want to do? I don't know. I just want to be right. So I'll try them all. But I mean, honestly, it's like kind of shopping. Like you gotta just trying to still see what fits for you. And speaking of stardom, because I'm gonna tell my little, personal little issue or thing of what happened to me. So I don't know if any of you all remember CB4, the movie, came out in 1993. Okay, right. And I think it was like March or May of 1993. So I was still 13 then. I wasn't turning 14 until September. So anyway, I went to the movies with two of my friends, and we got dropped off by her mom. So we had time to go around in the mall, walk around, whatever. And we weren't even old enough to see CB4, but we knew how to do it back then. You buy the ticket for the other movie, and then you go run down one by one and sneak in, and then now we in the rated R movie. Well, in the midst of walking around the mall, we ran into two of our other friends from school. And they were like, as like older women like to say, she fast. They too grown. Yeah, well, that was them too. Mm-hmm. Too fast and grown. So we're like, where y'all going? You going to the movies? They were like, nah, girl, we going to the hotel up the hill. So we're like, wait, how? Why? Who's at a hotel? Like, what's going on? And it was like, girl, we ran into the light crew for special ed. Now, I don't know who's watching, but special ed, I got it made. You remember special ed? Okay, yeah, the lighting crew, the ones that hung his lights up for his concert, they met them. 4 of them. Okay. And they're going to have a party at the hotel. Y'all should come. We was like, nah, we gonna go see CB4. No, we going to see the movie. We good. They was like, well, if y'all change your mind, when the movie is over, come up the hill, because it was this little hotel that sat up the hill from the mall. We were like, okay, we might do that, but we being good. Fast forward into later on, we got paged out the movie by one of their crew members to come meet them and come with them to the hotel. We got drinks, this, that, whatever. So me, naive, like the other two, we're 13. So we're like, we'll go. I've never had a drink at this point in my life. This was my first drink. This was something I was very nervous about. Didn't really know how to kind of deal with this. But I want to be grown. I want to be fast. I want to be fitting in with the crowd. And got there, and I remember one of the girls was going into full-fledged positions, like this is how you got to take it, this is what you got to do, and it's going to hurt. Like how you talk people into drinking like it's going to burn when you take the shot, but you'll get over it and used to it and you'll take more. And it was like a step-by-step to the point where it was like a whole full orgy room, and I felt so violated at the point of little things happen to me, but not the full act. And I was talking to this guy who had to be 6'5", and I'm like 4 foot whatever. And I'm like, I got a boyfriend, and he skateboards, and everyone around me in this room is in the dark getting it in with these grown men, and this man stopped. He stopped. And he left me alone. And I remember him hollering out to the other ones around, she not with it, y'all. She talking about her boyfriend. I had no boyfriend, but I was doing anything I could to just get out the equation to where it put us in a position of having to testify in court, because one of my friend's parents, which her father, came to that hotel after one left and told on all of us, and he came with his gun. We're going to take a break. We'll come back. It's Thunderous Altercation. And we're back in the comfort of my own home. I am Rene, Thunderous Altercations. We're live.
I'm David Lorenzo Glover, a.k.a. don't know. I'm confused.
Don't know?
Don't know. This is such a serious subject matter, and
yeah,
you can't really put your pin on it because it's so many variables, and
yeah,
it has your head spinning. Like, who's to blame in these issues?
Right.
But you know they only target certain people, and it's kind of sad.
It is. And it's sad because what I was explaining about, you know, being in that hotel and being around these grown men, and just, you know, it's crazy talking about it because it's kind of like I'm kind of back there for a second because I can remember the smell of just like around me.
Spice?
It wasn't Old Spice. It was spicy. It's just like, 'cause it was so many people in there. And again, you're in like this dark ring circle of people that's just doing their own thing, and then just the feel of that man, the hands and that touch, which again, like I said, was just it cringes in your back. And then to have my friend's dad show up with a gun and call the police on these grown men because we got starstruck. Mm-hmm. I mean, we wasn't told to meet special ed. We were told we hanging with the lighting crew that worked for him, thinking that they're going to get us to special ed if we do what it is that they wanted. But me being the oddball out of the whole equation, I didn't do what he wanted. And I'm just trying to think, like, if I would have went forward, like, how I would have really felt. And I remember being scared, not of the cops, of my mom. Like, I got to go home and explain this to my mother. Like, why am I coming home late? And I remember also that we looked from at the top of the hill where the hotel was, because we expected my friend's mother to come back and pick us up, which she was coming back, and we watched her like drive like around within the mall parking lot from one end and circle back around, like, where were we? And of course, no cell phone, couldn't call, so she left. And all I wanted to do was just, before everything went down, was kind of like go run back down there and go get in the car with her. Like, I felt like I knew what was safe, but again, still wanting to be a part of the in crowd. And then when the cops came, my friends were actually able to reach their older sister who drove. She came and picked us up from the hotel, and of course I needed a ride home. So after statements with the cops and then trying to talk to them, and then they couldn't talk to all of us to get individual stories, we had to call the detective to schedule a time for them to come back and talk to us to get our individual statements from what was taken home and what was told to her father, which again was ready to shoot everything up. So he took her. I rode with my friend's sister, and I remember her sister walking me to the door, and I had to knock on the door because it was late, and my mom was like asleep, and she was like, "Are you gonna tell her, or you want me to say something?" And my mom was like, "Tell me what?" And I was like, "I'll explain it to you." And then I was like, "No, I'm gonna tell her, I got it." And she was like, "Okay, if you need me to, for whatever reason, then let me know." I was like, yeah, it's fine. And then I'm trying to brush her off, and then my mom is like, "What's she talking about?" And I was like, "No, they want me to go to like this party next weekend, and she said she would be the one to drive me home, and she just wanted to make sure it was okay because she's younger, but she has her license, and if it would be okay for me to go." And she was like, "Oh, okay." Like, my mom's still having that mother intuition, like, that's a lie, but I'll ride with this. And I called the detective that following week, and I got them to come and do a statement with me, with my mom being at work, so that she didn't have no clue they came to the house, no clue that I did this written statement, didn't want to be involved of like seeing these guys again, because they were going forward to get them, and my friend's dad was pressing charges against what happened. My other friends that I went to the movies with, the two girls, the only one that knew was their older sister, so she was vouching around for them because she was older than them. So it was kind of like she was the guardian. So it was like they didn't have to tell their parents, and I didn't have to really tell my mom, because I didn't have to go to court, because I already said there was no sexual activity that happened, just more so of that molestation, the feeling, and that touching, and all of that, of what made it very uncomfortable for me, but that I didn't want to get too far involved with doing anything personal, so all they needed was the statement.
See, I would have thought that no matter what, it would contact detectives, that your parents would have been contacted before you even had an interview or conversation with them. But so it makes me think like these laws and rules really don't pertain. You go by the fly. People just do what the hell they want to do when they want to do it. So how do a police officer or anybody talk to a child without parent contact? That's not even supposed to happen.
Yeah, but I lived in Washington State, and that's a whole totally different place opposed to here. I mean, come on, we're looking at a state that legalized marijuana as the first state in 2012, and it's in vending machines too. You know, just in case you forgot yours at home. I mean, I'm just saying, you got to look at the different setups from one state to another state.
I think that's the problem, that it should be universal. It shouldn't be by state.
Yeah,
if
exactly.
you have something, whatever, this is the rule.
I agree.
This is the policy.
Right.
And it's all over.
Right.
So then you have people bounce from state to state and say, well, I know that if I sleep with a 16-year-old in Maryland, that if she say it was consensual, it's all good.
Right.
But if I go somewhere else, it's supposed to be 17 or 18. Man, we jacked up.
Yeah,
Man,
we really are. And that's what makes it scary when it comes down to the law and how to prosecute and how to move forward. It's like, what kind of protection laws are there for minor versus someone who is an adult? And also the adult committing the crime with being a pedophile or molesting younger children, and them, which is the scariest person out of it all, that they have no remorse, nor do they even see that they have anything that they're doing wrong. Michael Jackson, speaking as to the next person on the chair, or in the chair, you know, the amount of money that this man had, which was so long, to every accusation he had, it was coming from a young boy. And then everything that went to court seemed to have been settled out of court. It was some type of money involved. Are we that much a part of just looking for the money again when it comes to stardom, to do whatever it takes just to get there? Because I even looked at that one as well. And you're talking about a person who would want to fall out, mock, mimic every dance move that Michael did. That's me. Get sad on the death of his anniversary. That's me. And then to have Neverland come out, the documentary, and I said to myself, I'm not watching that. I don't want to see him in this light. I don't want to believe it. I don't want to see it. Because we idolize in our own kind of way when it comes to stars and entertainers. Like, we don't want to see that bad part of them. We want to look at them like the entertainer, the good person, but we personally didn't live with them, know them, call them on the phone, hang out. And so for us to see what they really was within someone to tell their story, you know, like, dang, do we believe that? Well, wow, a lot of people was always saying this, that, and the third, but we don't want to believe certain things because of the icon that they are. We just can't see that ever happening. And then therefore, what do? We downplay it. We brush that under the rug. No, we couldn't have did none of that. And then when you're listening to detailed information being given, and not one, but several voices having the same story who don't know each other, then we're like, okay, now is this fabrication? Is this just the wheel it's in? Is this to take another black man, black entertainer, black icon down? Or is it something that they finally had the courage to actually tell their story? Like I said, my mom she knows now, but she didn't know my story when I was 13. It don't even matter how old I'll be this year. But I told everybody, 40.
28.
Yeah, 40. Yeah, I'm not going to hide. I look good for 39. But I'm just saying, she didn't know. And I felt some kind of way like this is my fault. I'm embarrassed to say this. I can't go into details and have this conversation with her. So let me just act like nothing happened and lie about it. And then when stuff gets to the point where it eats you up and then you're hearing about it going on with the person next door and it don't even have to be a star involved, it starts bringing it all back up. I think this is where these people are coming from. Bill Cosby, the Me Too movement, Michael Jackson accusers, R. Kelly accusers, and then everybody wants to, again, who have never been in the situation, wind down. Why do they want to talk? It's all about money. They want a book deal. They want a show. And it's kind of like you got to even the scale, like, well, do they really just want money or do they really want to be heard to speak their truth because it's killing them inside?
Well, we don't know that, and I could share from being a black man and going through some issues myself as an adolescent to talk about it. But I don't know if we need to take a break right now. Okay, so I can elaborate on that. Things happen. Me as a young child, and on my street, it was a lot of young boys, whatever, like growing up. But sometimes you have perpetrators, and I got caught up in something that an older person that lured me and another boy in the basement, and he tried to commit this stuff on us, and I kept it to myself all this time. I never, and I tried to share it, but when I tried to share it, I tried to share it with my peers, like my brothers and my sisters. They were younger than me and other people. They sort of like laughed, and I said, well, let me forget it. I blocked it out. Because long as I was active in doing things, getting good grades, playing sports, it never bothered me. Because I knew if I told my father, he was intelligent, he was a Gemini, he wasn't wrapped too tight, whatever. He was known to be, as I got older, like your father, he didn't play around, he was a thug. I knew he would have did something that would have probably put him in jail for life. I knew if I told my grandmother, who was from Alabama, them women from Alabama or in the South didn't play. They did not play. So I kind of said, you know what, I'm not going to really tell anybody. I didn't tell anybody till I was like 21. I started having fights, physical fights with people, and my mother like, what is going on with you? You never fought nobody, all this shit. You're going to wait till your junior year in college. Now all of a sudden you fighting people. But I didn't let nobody, I didn't want nobody to control me the way that that person tried to control me. And I'm doing well right now because usually I shed tears. Oh, wow. But I'm getting past
that is good. Yes.
On the stage, whatever, that I, you know, I explained to her, and I remember breaking down to one of my boys, and he was like, yo, we can handle it. We can find him. And then I was like, what would that solve? He was like, man, I'm going to go to my house. We can get this, and we can ride around and look for him. And then I said, you know what? He's suffering right now because the person wasn't doing well overall. And I said, I'm still striving. I'm better than this. I can beat this, whatever. So that's what I did. And so it makes you wonder how certain people handle these situations when it happens. It's prevalent. That it happens to a lot of people. Yeah. And we just don't sometimes.
It's like the skeleton in the closet that you push in the back, you know, and it basically can have you on the forefront later on in your adulthood to be wilding. You know, being more sexually active, being more promiscuous, being more to the point, not trusting nobody. Actually, you know, to a point of not trusting a certain gender of people, to where it places that fear in you, and you're like, you know what, I remember when I was 7, and I know they're nasty. Men are nasty. I'll never date no man, you know, or vice versa. Men have been in the situation like you stated, and, you know, women, they just too, oh no. And my first experience, I was, you know, 9, and that lady, she was my babysitter, and it portrays a fear. And it's something that you either have to make a decision, we're going to move from it or we're not. So we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. It's Thunderous Altercations. And we're back. It is Thunderous Altercations. I'm Rene.
And I'm David Lorenzo Glover, the big controversy.
And I'm sick of the film too.
So listen, we're talking about a couple of issues that we personally experienced within our lives growing up as young kids and dealing with it moving forward. I didn't go to counseling for it. Did you go to counseling for it?
No, I never went to counseling
Yeah.
for it. I stayed busy and occupied.
Right.
And I said, this will not break me. I got things to do.
Right.
And, I mean, when you harbor and stuff, granted, some people need that.
Right.
And there's other ways that it might manifest in relationships, that the trust issues and things like that. But me, I just kept it moving. I'm always going to keep it moving. I'm not going to let nothing defeat me. I'm not going to say I'm depressed, I'm sad, or whatever, because I got, excuse my language, I got too much shit to do in this world to sit there and let something defeat me.
Yeah, exactly. And harboring on something, too, is never good. I mean, if it's something that you can't control nor change, especially today, then there's no need to dwell on it. You got to keep moving forward, and that's what it is. It sometimes becomes a tool to strengthen you and to just be very careful on who you bring into your life and your circle. And again, being able, being in close encounters with them, because it's just something that you just know better now. Again, going back to these scandals when it comes to two huge icons and entertainers with R. Kelly and Michael Jackson, with Michael Jackson accusers, that's been going on for years, even before he passed away. Now we have these two guys, Wade Robson and coming out, who was a choreographer for NSYNC, Britney Spears, who Michael Jackson helped to build his career up, bringing him on stage, even to a contest he wasn't even allowed to be a part of, and helped to mold him, but also with the allegations that's placed against him, mold him in other ways than just choreography and being one of the best choreographers out there. It's still always, and I'm going to say, three sides to a story. It's theirs, it's his, and it's the truth. And the thing is, because this man is no longer here to defend himself, who's actually now telling the truth? So it's kind of like you kind of have to make a decision for yourself if you're going to still ride for them as to be a fan, still play their music, or get on the bandwagon with other people and then trash the music, burn all the stuff up, because it's a catch-22. It's like, again, you don't want to know that part of that person, of how they were in real life outside of TV, of what we saw as what was portrayed to us as this musical dancing genius who passed the baton to others that we have in this world today with entertainers who idolized him as well and wanted to be like Michael Jackson, who themed their sets and their concerts and their clothes around his style. Like, he's a legend to where they're going to continue to keep him living as an icon. But again, do you feel like these boys are telling the truth, or do you think it's a money thing now? Because who are they suing? Yeah. He's gone. You know what I mean? Like, do they want it for the money, or do they want it because it killed them for so many years to hold it, and they need to say what they should have said from the beginning when they were asked to come on trial and testify? And
again, that goes back to the parent piece with the questioning and how does somebody make you feel before you let someone, before you let your child be around an adult. And when you go back to all this, we all had heroes or people we looked up to. When I was growing up, Magic Johnson was my guy. He was. And he had, all the sex scandals with being in LA, the HIV positive. I remember the day that I found out. I had a later class in college, and I came back to my room, and I think my cousin was up there and my roommate, and I walked in the door, put my key in the door. They say, yo, your man retired. And I'm like, who? And they was like, Magic Johnson. I was like, for what? And at that time, he was like 31, 32. Why? He was still in his prime, putting in work, cooking foods. And they was like, because he announced that he was HIV positive. And I stood there for a while, probably 2-3 minutes, stunned. That was my guy. I wanted to do everything. I wanted to smile like Magic Johnson. I wanted to have the look away passes like Magic Johnson. I wanted to do everything that he did whatever. He was a hero, and I still respect this game. I don't know what's going on with the Lakers now and LeBron. That was a whole nother thing because LeBron.
I'll check it out at playoff time.
Story. It ain't no playoffs for LA this year.
They not
Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't talking about them. I just meant NBA altogether.
So
I can do
I
playoffs.
understand when you get caught up. Also, another person that I enjoy because his branding and his marketing is Floyd Mayweather. People say, "How do you like him?" He's a womanizer. I don't know his personal life, but I know as a boxer he's skilled.
A lot of Tinas
and
eat
I
the
know
cake.
as branding and marketing, he went from making probably 25,000 or something to a fight to making 9 figures. You do that because you're skilled and you're. I don't like I said. I don't know about his relationships with his women and all that stuff, but I know as far as marketing, he's a marketing genius. He became a villain, and sort of that's how the controversial counselor arrives. Whatever, like, hey, like go for it, whatever. I'll be the villain.
Do you think, honestly, as human beings, that we can separate the two and still have respect for someone that is a pedophile and that is a molester? Or do you think that we throw all of it in the trash? Like, we just like, I'm not messing with him. He was doing A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, and now I just can't take him. Even though we never personally knew them at all. They never sent me a check at all. You know, Mike never had no visitors from little girls coming. That wasn't the preference. And nor were they from this country either. You know, we're talking about Australia and other countries. And that was another thing. Mike just helps all the sick children. He probably did that too. And he wrote a lot of inspirational songs as well. But he had a very expensive habit because of a lot of the things that he had to pay for were lawsuits outside of court when it came back down to these sexual allegations of molesting little boys. So can we turn off the bad part and still keep the good of an actual star? Or do we just need to push them away altogether? You know, they were walking around, mute R. Kelly. You know, I had heroes too. They were Thundercats. Chitara, Lion-O. Well, I wanted to run fast too. I wanted an eye of sight sword. I wanted all of that. You know what I mean? But I knew I wasn't going to be no cat. And I knew I couldn't run fast because I was a fat girl. Eating up everybody's stuff. But I'm just saying though, you know, like really honestly on a real note, can we separate the two? Are we supposed to separate the two and still give them the accolades and the credit that's due of them still being an entertainer?
I think people can, it depends on your emotional intelligence level. And what bothers me the most when you said the memes and all that stuff, like how, and I know white people do it, but to me, I see it, and I'm just thinking about my followers and people that I'm friends with, how they try to kick somebody black when they're down. Like, and we just low down.
We had a horrible Black History Month, didn't we though?
And they just don't stop. But then you have, and I don't try to turn stuff into black and white, whatever, but then you have Caucasian people do the same thing. Y'all don't do anything. But y'all loving this R. Kelly thing. Y'all love to pick at Floyd. Y'all love to
it's
pick
putting
at Bill
us back
Cosby.
to that light again of negativity. Let's segue over and let's talk about them a little bit. Let's see. Woody Allen, 8-year-old daughter, molded her to be his wife. They still married and together.
Sick.
Okay. Ding. True or false? Is this sick or not? Elvis Presley was dating Priscilla at the age of 14. They looked at him as the king. Not a pop, pop, rock, the king. Period. At that age, in those times, ain't nobody say nothing about, like, you know, like, we'll just let her push her way on through because this is where she belongs. Like, because he's a king. He's a star. Everyone loves him. Everyone's falling out over Elvis. Look at how he danced. Listen to that voice. Like, I mean, they loved it.
Because I think whatever, they let you know whatever that we know that if we put this out there, us as blacks, we gonna divide anyway. We just we got so much hatred.
Yeah, and within our own.
Yeah, that we we're gonna choose sides instead of saying, you know, hey, let me sit back and reflect. Whatever.
So more fuel that's pretty much added on to the fire.
Yeah.
We're just blowing up a bonfire, you know, and we are basically, we're burning down our culture, period. And especially with the fact, like I said, if we didn't have the worst Black History Month, and February is already short, but then look at what happened once Neverland and R. Kelly came out. What song came out? And I love this song. Tease Me. Cardi and Bruno. What? If this ain't the wrong time right now, with all of what's going on, it's just segueing off to like, let you focus on something else, because this is bad. This man back here begging in the song. And she's just teasing him with the whole act of what you possibly may get after all of it. I'll take my time. You know what I mean? No J with my J's. No drawers. It's just nothing. You know what I mean? I love this song. I love it. I do. I love the song. But I'm just saying, it's a constant build.
It's a build up. It's making all that happen.
Yes, exactly. Right. And so it's like we in a museum of a mess. And we don't know what floor to go to next. Like, what's over here? Like, oh, Lord, these are all the jail photos and the mugshot pictures. And what's upstairs? Oh, that's all the court documents. We cased them in. Like, Jesus.
Just let me off on the 13th floor.
I can't take him right now.
Get on into the bed. Whatever. All four.
Okay, they don't know
Peter Pan.
Yes, you guys, it's a Thunderous inside joke type of situation right now.
If you want to know, ask about it, type in, or whatever the case
they'll
is.
explain it. Yeah, but let's talk about Harvey Weinstein. Me Too movement.
Started with
Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby jumped it off with everybody coming from 1973 up until like now, and it's like the pudding pops was laced. I had a drink, I asked for water, it wasn't that, there was something different they gave me. All these people, even decrepit looking what's her name? Janice Dickinson, looking sicker than ever, and now you're gonna put yourself in a position, a supermodel, which she used to once be. Yes, once upon a time, yeah. You know, and again, we looked at this man like this is our dad that comes in our house on Thursday night as Bill Cosby. He's a doctor. He's got Rudy, Vanessa, those his children. That's not.
They went to college.
See how we don't separate the two? We idolize to what we're visually seeing at a household, and this man was a character. That wasn't the real Bill. Only his wife, Camilla, she knew Bill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the bad thing is we don't, but when it comes to a well-renowned film producer, writer, Harvey, giving people a start, had all these rape charges, sexual allegations, got locked up, got bailed out. Again, this man's still walking free.
And he kissing Oprah.
Okay?
And that's the thing with Oprah. That bothers me too.
What in the world? Like my son say, what in the world? Like, yeah, it's crazy. But again, if we took all of these people off of our TV, radio.
Then what?
Right, 7. What? Then what? What are we going to do?
No R. Kelly. Then what? No Michael Jackson. Then what?
Yeah, exactly.
Dr. Huxtable, the pharmacist.
I can't.
Yeah.
I'd say, right. We're gonna go into a break, and we're gonna come back, and we're going to discuss the rest of this thunderous topic, which we actually haven't had any altercations today, have we?
No, we usually have one. I'm waiting for it to happen, but you know what? This is such a serious matter that you could go deeper.
Yeah, we're trying to keep it light.
Deeper.
Exactly, as much as we can. Yeah, we don't want to ruin nobody's Saturday today. Then they ain't going to watch us next week for the last one.
They already ruined my Saturday.
Peter Pan.
Oh, God. Don't ever grow up, people. We'll be right back. It's Thunderous Altercations. Hey, we're back. It's Thunderous Altercations, and we are live right now at WPB Media Networks, also on Facebook live streaming. I'm your girl, Rene.
David Lorenzo Glover, a.k.a. I'm just chilling right now.
Oh, gosh. Aren't we all? Yes, it's so comfortable. Well, we've been talking about a lot of the scandals from Hollywood and stardom and parents and who's to blame, who's not to blame. Can we still support people who do have sick issues? And again, with the sickness, is it actually covering as to dominate more over their success as far as them being talented artists, like I said, producers, actors, entertainers, the people that we really be buying tickets for to come out, to come show support. We want to be there. We see them. You know, I can tell you at the Beyonce concert I went to in 2010, and I went by myself, and it's a natural feeling. Like, you see the people you like, you love them, you like what they do, you love the music, and as an entertainer, they're just like the best thing since, you know, bottled water. And she used 2 stages, and I lie to you not, David, I was like 6 years old in there with my grown self, and she was on that stage, and I swear she looked at me, and I was like, Beyonce! I was like, I'm a Virgo too! And I was like, she don't hear me. I know she don't, but I'm so excited. She's right here at this stage. Like, it was like I just found myself for like a minute or so watching her and not really like just staying in the realm of the performance and the actual concert itself. But, you know, we have children, especially like mine. I don't know how your son was when he was 3 and a half or so, but mine is very curious, and he's asking about stuff and body parts, and I ask him because he's very smart, and I'd be like, did anybody ever touch you, or did they ever say anything? You know, like, how do we keep our children protected? Like, that's the big thing.
Well, yeah, I think the thing is the level of questioning and knowing the people that you deal with. Because a lot of times people just look at, okay, that's a babysitter. I can do my own thing, and I'm not going to follow up with that. So as a parent, you have to know, it's a screening process that you have to think about.
Right.
And you have to listen to your children. I mean, really actually listen. If they stay somewhere to say, yeah, we stayed over my boy's house, but all of a sudden she had this the mother had a new boyfriend, and he was drinking, and he started tickling us, and different stuff like that. It's small. It's small. Right. So y'all laughed it, but it's real.
Right, yeah. I mean, it is
play
real.
around like that.
Mom, and that's how they reel them in.
And you like, what? So you start listening to stuff, and then you realize, I don't think this the option, whatever. Like, he seemed like he was drunk. Because kids will tell it. They may leave out certain things, but they'll tell certain things, that you say, wow, like.
Yeah, they're paying attention more than you know. Yeah.
So those type of things you have to pay attention to. So, but I think a lot of times, and I'm not saying for everyone, but it's parents that look for, like, this is a way that I'm free. They're over here, this one is there, he's over there, now I can sit back, chill, go out, I don't have to worry about them, and they don't care. But it's stuff happening behind the scenes that impacts your life, for the rest of your life, and we have to pay attention to that stuff. And it's hard to kind of control it, because you don't know, you could get it from all ends.
Right, and you can, and as far as with my son, I only have one, and I know I'm not having any more children. You know, I wanted a boy, I got what I wanted. You know, like, if I ever get into like a situation, and then it's like, okay, if you got kids or whatever the case may be, or whatever, you know, it can be a blended family, fine. But here's the thing, this is why I go back to saying, like, I don't want anyone being around my child for so many months, because of the simple fact that, one, I need to see what your traits are and what sets you off and your little quirks and issues before you come around my son, who's still learning words, of course, and expressing himself. He's young, you know, he's only going to be 4, and he's paying attention. He's very observant. I mean, he tell me stuff that, you know, his grandma does. Like, if I'm at work, like, Granny spilled my milk today. Like, okay, well, did she clean it up? Yeah. Then she took a nap. I'm like, oh, okay. So he was just chilling by himself.
Took a nap,
Yeah.
I start cooking. I made
Right,
some eggs
yeah.
and all that stuff.
Right, exactly. But I have to look at his reactions to certain things. Like when I leave him at school, when I know that he's not crying, like as if I'm about to walk out that door, like, don't leave me. It makes me feel safe in a sense to know, like, he's good here. Nobody's bothering him. You know, like, when I come and pick him up, I am like the devil. Like, oh, you gonna come now? We all at the playground? Like, you always gotta come at 4 o'clock. Like, that's your pickup time. Like, sorry, Miss Karen got you out late at the playground, but it's our time to roll out. But I know he's in good hands, you know, besides within the camera system. And I don't have a lot of people also babysit my child because I don't like that. And number 2, I don't want him to feel like I just keep dropping him off to different places. And I don't want to be dealing with him because I'm still trying to live this 20-something-year-old life that I used to have when I was kid-free. And then I want him to feel like, you know, it's nothing but a strong love is to know that your mom and your parents, you know, have your back and that I'm here for you. But I do ask him at times, like, you know, knowing that he can go to the bathroom, you know, by himself, not where, like, I send him to a public one by himself, but just knowing, like, you know, he knows how to go to the potty. And I ask, you know, like, has anybody ever tried to touch you? Has anybody ever said something in reference to, you know, he calls it his diddle whittle? Except for Tuesday, he done changed the name. We done lost a lot of those letters, so we at DI, and you can fill the rest of the 2 in. And I'm like, who said that to you? Yeah, like, right? Like, it got wet. Like, how? You don't have enough? For yes.
That's weird.
Yeah. Like, you know. Well, I mean, he was having a bowel movement, and he was sitting on, of course, the adult toilet, but with his Paw Patrol seat. And he said it got wet from, like, I guess I'm thinking like the water splash up and hit you. Like, I know it's not enough hang time there for it to be getting wet. Like, just.
Or it might be.
In the no, I know because I bathe him, so I know. Okay? I've seen a lot. And I'm scared. Help me. But I'm just.
It might have hit his jangle wrangle. Jangle wrangle.
Is that part of the top media? I don't know.
The TTs.
Anyway, I told him stop using that word, please. I like diddle whittle is fine, but of course he knows the real word to it too. I guess he just feel like this is safe to kind of say. But I keep tabs on him, and I think that's what parents tend to lack of doing, talking to your children, having these regular conversations. If you feel like you are being defeated by social media and text messages, then maybe you need to start finding them in that realm so that you can pull them back so you can have a sit-down conversation. The one thing that we do, as I think with newer parents, is they try to use other things to watch the children or teach them. TV is a slippery slope. You can set them in front of the TV for hours, and what are they gaining from that? Just the lingo and how these characters are treating each other. But when it comes to real conversation, they don't know how to talk. They don't know how to express themselves, words, etc.
I don't even think they even focus on TV as much. They more with these devices, being able to stroll through whatever. Like, I have a lot of conversations working in the middle school.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing that, and people don't know. And I would say this, that probably every school, and I'm thinking I work on the middle school level now, every middle school probably has an exposed page that is kids, girls, boys that's sending their private parts out. And it's a certain amount of people that's seeing it.
Right.
So, and it's out in this universe, and you have grown men, perpetrators that see this stuff, and if you don't have the filters on for the locations and all that stuff, they're coming after your children.
Right.
So it's amazing. I have these conversations. They're like, yeah, Mr. Glover, you know, such and such exposed themselves. They got a shrimp, huh? They got a shrimp. He got a shrimp. And I'm like, wow. Like, and y'all think, okay, let me get my phone, my kid this iPhone 10.
Right.
And they have all this stuff, whatever.
Right.
If you don't monitor it and you don't know your child,
right.
They're doing a lot of stuff. Like 11 years old, they're sending nudes. They're sending them.
And what about the coding text,
Yeah.
the text codes, like the acronyms that they're putting together that means a whole phrase of something that is basically sexual or inappropriate. You know, they try to code it out from, you know, someone like a millennial, not a millennial, a Generation X parent, you know, or, you know, again, hiding their conversations because all you want to do is try to still give your children trust to be able to go and do what they need to do and be independent and learn the ropes and know what and not, you know, what to do, what not to do, how to have a conversation, etc., and to keep themselves safe in all different types of equations and situations as far as in the public, school, parties, outings, whatever. You know, you don't ever want them to feel sheltered, but you still got to have some type of a relationship where they still feel comfortable enough to know they can come and talk to you. Not trying to be your best friend, but I want you to know I'm your biggest supporter and I got your back. So whatever it is you need, and especially to talk to, I can be your first counselor. And if it has to go further, we can go to the therapist and we can do that. And I think that's another thing too, is that what bothers me with parents is that they don't want to seek the help that their children need. Like, you keep wanting to try to do what you need to do at home and fix it, but it actually takes someone on a special level, which is a professional, and it's not about the drugs and getting some type of medicine to cope. It's about, maybe I can't tell you everything, but I don't know this person, but I know because of the field they work in, there's some type of a specialist of a doctor. When it comes to mind and actions, they're going to kind of help me to be able to still deal with and speaking to you about what the issue is and what I'm still struggling with. Because if parents don't stay on top of their children, and I think it's young as they're growing, and you look as though that you care what they're doing and what they're into, and knowing their friends, like you say, know your personnel, that KYP, then parents are in for a rude awakening. And then that can come with a whole bunch of other issues once they hit to high school. Now they on some full-fledged level of something else. Yeah, it is. And then it's not going to do anything but hurt you more than anything. It ain't going to help. It's going to hurt. Because you're going to try to now backtrack. Where did I fail? Like, where did I drop the ball? Did I get too lackadaisical with thinking that they were always okay and that they were always basically, you know, not needing me for the support or to talk to? Now we got these little little friends that they got, that they want to run all their information to. And like I said, it's a thing where they're bigging each other up, like, go ahead, you know, like, you know what to do, like, you got it under control, and you don't.
Kids are opportunists. They'll look for certain
So are some adults.
Yeah, but like, imagine if you're a parent and you just start dating someone that
right.
now all of a sudden you got some little happiness going on, and they saying, man, she's occupied with this, so now
right.
I get the opportunity to do this or do that, because you're in a whole nother stratosphere
right.
with your romance, that they'll take advantage of this. But you have to stay consistent with them, and we all slip up. But the bottom line is knowing your child. You can look in their face and know when something wrong. And you might ask them something, how was your day? And you can look in their face like, I know it's something.
Right, yeah.
I gotta probe a little more. They might not tell you, because most kids, it's all right. They gonna say the same thing. As they get older.
My grandma's 102.
Yeah,
I call her. And I'd be like, hey, Ma. She was like, hey. And I try to fake it like everything is cool. She's like, how you doing? I'm like, I'm fine. She was like, no, you're not. I'm like, yes, I am, because I don't want her to worry. At 102, she don't need to be worried about nothing, especially for somebody that's 39. Like, you know, and now I know certain times to not call her. If it's in my voice and I haven't shaken it yet, leave her alone. Because, as I say, she is always going to be concerned and worried about me. Why? Because I'm her baby. And I'll always be her baby. So We're going to take a break, and we're going to come back. It's Thunderous Altercations.
3,
Yes,
2.
with the kids. And we're back with the Thunderous Altercation. It's K. Rene.
David Lorenzo Glover, a.k.a. the Controversial Counsel.
Oh, you went back to the original.
Always.
Okay, yeah. I hope you all enjoyed our show today, and I hope you were able to join us. And don't worry, if you didn't have a chance, we will definitely be posting it, and so you can look out for that. Also, take a look at our episode from last Saturday when we talked about jealousy and relationships, friendships, families, etc. But just as far as our final thought to wrap up for today, we talked about all the scandals and everything that happened in Hollywood, and of course 2 icons as legends, and of course entertainers, one that's still here with us and one that is gone and no longer able to defend himself. But I just want to say, when it comes to scandals and when it comes to your children's dreams, just be careful on how you help them to pursue it, and let it be their dream and not more so your dream for your pockets as some type of personal gain to get from their stardom. And trust your people of who you're getting involved with and who you're putting your child in as far as within their hands to make things happen. But know who's around your children. Talk to your children every day. Love your children. Let your children know that you are loving them, and that you're here for them, and that they don't have to think twice about that, and to know that you're here to protect them. Because if there is a disconnect, then your kids won't actually start to trust you as they get older, nor will they want to express or tell you things that's going on in their life.
And for me, I think the biggest thing is, I think a lot of times when you have children, most adults stop dreaming. I'm still dreaming. And when your kids see that you're still dreaming and you're still trying to make things happen, that kind of motivates them. If you get stuck in your dead-end job and you're miserable, then obviously you're putting that negative energy in the air. So if you keep dreaming and they show like, man, my dad's still grinding, he's still trying to make things happen, that encourages them.
The dinner and everything.
Keep dreaming, keep thinking stuff, the impossible can happen. And if you can do that, then they'll still say like, man, it's still life and it's still hope.
Right.
But when you give up, then essentially you letting them know that don't believe in certain things because it may not happen. So that's just my take.
All right. Well, we'll be back next Saturday to wrap up our season, and hopefully you can join us. I'm K. Rene.
David Lorenzo Glover, the big dreamer.
Thunderous Altercations. Bye. Enjoy your Saturday.